Hello?
Hey there, welcome to another Mob of Two special.
Oh yeah, I'm Matt.
I'm Andy.
And today we are talking about
Linkin Park!
You a big Linkin Park fan?
Yeah, I like a lot of their earlier stuff. I was a Hybrid Theory is like a core memory for me growing up. I think that album's a classic. I'm not like a diehard Linkin Park fan. Like when they started getting like kind of softer style music, it wasn't really for me, but I do like a lot of their music.
Yeah. I never got overly into them either, but I do remember their, hit songs. Numb is good, and what's the other one called? I know them. I heard
their other hit song.
Yeah. Well, they have, you know what I mean. They got more than one. In the end.
Yeah, that's on Hybrid Theory.
And What I've Done. Is that one on Hybrid Theory?
No, I don't think that one is.
Alright. But yeah. What is going on in Linkin Park world?
Well, they've replaced Chester, who was the lead singer who tragically ended his life.
Definitely tragic.
Yeah. But they've replaced the singer with a controversial lady.
Wow. Don't tell me she's a fucking Scientologist.
Well, he's a Scientologist, and
wow.
You remember that 70s show?
I did. I loved that show growing up. That was a good one.
Did you like the rapist guy?
My favorite character? No, it wasn't. But that curly-headed fuck is currently in jail or in prison.
Yep, he's in prison. And it turns out that she was, because of her Scientology, ties to Scientology, she was a supporter of his during his trial. We'll get into that. Let me first get into this. She wrote an apology, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. I'll read you her apology.
Okay, hopefully it's entertaining like some of these YouTuber apologies, which are so fucking funny. Remember the one with the ukulele?
Yeah. It's always good to make a musical out of your apology.
Yeah, a musical apology when it comes to talking to minors in a very weird way.
But this apology, unfortunately, is not as entertaining as that, and to me, at least, it felt a little. It left me a little wanting. But
all right, baby boy.
I'll read it for you. Here we go. Hi, I'm Emily.
Off to a great fucking start. What is this? First day of kindergarten?
First day of Linkin Park. I'm new to so many of you, and I wanted to clear the air about something that happened a while back. Several years ago, I was asked to support someone I considered a friend at a court appearance, and went to one early hearing as an observer. Soon after, I realized I shouldn't have. I always try to see the good in people, and I misjudged him. I've never spoken with him since. Unimaginable details emerged, and he was later found guilty. To say it as clearly as possible, I do not condone abuse or violence against women, and I empathize with the victims of these crimes. That's her apology.
Yeah, I feel like that apology is very basic. Like there's no real emotion put into it. No, I don't know. There's not really too much convincing language or like effort in terms of like I was appalled to hear this. I in no way would ever even consider, associating with anyone who had the capacity to do that. Breaks my heart that people would even view me in that way. Like, no, you know what I mean? Like, no language like that.
Yeah. She also failed to even mention Danny, his name, or Scientology at all, which is a completely separate. I mean, it's connected to this court case, but it's also a separate reason why fans are pissed, because in Scientology, they're also taught to, they don't believe in like psychiatry or mental health issues, which is a huge reason that the original singer's not here anymore.
Right.
And, I mean, she also in the apologies states that she was part of, several years ago, she was part of an early hearing as an observer. These trials started in 2017 with him, and the court hearing that she was an observer at was in 2022. So she could have been well aware of this already. About
right, yeah.
And not only that, like different Scientologists were harassing the victims in this case, and she didn't mention anything about that at all. There's a lot of fucked up shit with this. Personally, I'm not a fan of this. I think I know there's a lot of diehard Linkin Park fans out there that are just happy that the band's back together, but it's not worth it, in my opinion, for all this controversy. They could have picked anyone else. It's not like there's a shortage of people that can sing Linkin Park songs.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people would fucking cut off their arm to even audition to be in Linkin Park.
Yeah.
And they'd, definitely put their all into it. Kind of like how Smashing Pumpkins did a worldwide, audition for a new guitar player. And they found a pretty good guitar player. But
I think they didn't want to do like an audition or something to make it like, they didn't want to make it seem like a game show type vibe to like replace like the Chester. But
true, yeah.
This is making it like even more of a spectacle, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like an audition would have been less, of a spectacle, because the biggest problem I have with the whole thing is that if you're gonna do a new version of Linkin Park, yes, it should be able to kind of stand on its own 2 feet, but Linkin Park, to a degree, is always going to owe a lot to Chester. So
yeah,
you gotta keep some core foundation or some core message within the band that would still relate to him. And, considering what he suffered through his mental illness and what happened to him, which was incredibly tragic, the choice, like you said, is the kind of last person I feel like he would vibe with. Someone who doesn't believe in psychiatry or therapy. Basically, they don't believe in doing anything to help your mental health, or they just believe mental health issues are a fucking figment of your imagination or something. That doesn't even make any fucking sense. Getting help for one's mental health is very important and totally valid, and it definitely works for a lot of people who have issues with mental health. And without, getting that type of help, who knows where those people would be. And it's, very fucked up, in my opinion, that they would, like you said, they could have gotten anyone to do that gig, and they got someone who kind of went against something that Chester probably believed in. I'm sure he did try going to therapy and, psychiatry and stuff, but his issues were so deep, and he has such a hard time, tragically. But I don't think he would agree with that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And she does have defenders, and some of their points are interesting. Like, for example, They say that she's been kind of steering away privately from Scientology, and that even in her own music, I forgot the name of the other band that she's in, but she has her own music as well, and in that music she's talked about her own mental health and like themes along those lines that kind of steer away from Scientology. Which it is interesting that she has songs like that. And I mean, it would be a lot more clearer if she just like wrote something in depth like I do, like personally take mental health serious, like just to get this part of the argument over with, so people clearly know one way or the other. And like, it would be nice if she said, like, talked out about the Church of Scientology. And her defenders are saying, well, she doesn't want to deal with like death threats or like life-threatening situations. But I think if you're trying to be like a metal band lead singer like Linkin Park, like you just gotta like be like fuck you, like that's kind of like at the core of metal, is telling people to go fuck themselves like that. So
yeah, and punk, which I know Linkin Park doesn't punk music, but I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta, like, when Leah Remini, like, one of the stars of King of Queens, has bigger balls than you to talk about Church of Scientology. I mean, you gotta deal with it. So.
You know what it probably is Scientology is such an awful fucking cult that she probably has, I don't know, she probably has family members in it and very close friends in it, and it's become this whole mess for her, and she feels like she probably has to pick between, doing, I mean, I really don't know exactly what she thinks. Maybe part of her still actually does want to be in Scientology, but she doesn't want people to think that. She can't have her cake and eat it too. She can't have it fucking both ways, like you're saying. Someone who had integrity and balls, like Leah Remini, who left Scientology regardless of the people, she knew that were still in it or she was close with. She fucking left and became very outspoken about talking about Scientology and how horrible it is and how manipulative it is, and how fucked up it is, and how it's basically like a pyramid scheme pretty much. So I agree with you. I'd have a lot more respect for Emily if she just kind of, fucking decided one way or the other. But in general, I have very little respect, or probably no respect, I would say, for people who are in Scientology. I think, some of the shit that goes on behind closed doors within that religion, they do it all under the guise of a religion. That's how they get away with it. But, it's not right.
It is, it seems like a complex situation. It's definitely possible that it's tough because it's so unclear right now, but it's possible that she's got family members and friends that she doesn't want to be cut off from for life, and that could be playing a part of this, or she's still a complete believer in it. It's like, without her specifically stating one way or the other, it's like it's going to cause this like poison or this dark cloud over the band, I think, that's going to follow them for a while. There are diehard fans that really don't seem to care, and then there's diehard fans that really hate it and think this is an insult to Chester. I think I'm more on that side of the fence. There's also, Mike Shinoda, who seems to be like the leader now, the default leader of the band. This is mainly his decision. He's the one that's friends with her. So I think a lot of this lies on his shoulders too, because he knew about all this before picking her. So, I think they should have just picked someone else. And the original drummer of the band since Chester's passed away, he hasn't wanted anything to do with Linkin Park. He's not on this new album.
Oh, the drummer?
Yeah, the original drummer. He's got nothing to do with this Linkin Park anymore.
Yeah, see, if I was in a band and a close friend of mine, you know, if that happened to a close friend of mine, I don't blame the drummer. I don't think I have too much empathy to just, I don't know, replace him with someone like her, you know. It wouldn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I mean, apparently he was like distancing himself from the band before this Emily stuff even happened, but yeah, he definitely doesn't want anything to do with it. It's just crazy. I know one of Chester's children I think it's Jaime or Jamie Bennington. He recently went like on a huge like Instagram post rant about this whole situation, saying like how like they're trying to erase like his father's memory, and like talking about like Mike Shinoda was like planning this since 2017, 2018 to get Emily in. And
I fucking hope not. That is fucking awful, man. Cause didn't Chester die in 2017?
Very soon. So he went on a huge rant about a lot of different things about the band. But the thing, like, he himself has, like, from what I've read and found out, he has his own mental health issues that's makes him a little unstable. So he seemed to kind of privately believe that like Mike Shinoda had his father murdered or something, which I don't think that's true.
No, I don't believe that.
But some of the things he was saying is definitely like valid too. But he has his own issues as well, so take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I mean, well,
but he's blocked by like Mike Shinoda and like other parts of the band. So
how old is the kid? Like 15 or something like that?
No, I think he's like an adult.
He's an adult now.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find out how old he's 28. So.
Oh, okay. All right, he's 28. Okay. Well, significantly younger in 2017 when his father passed away.
Yeah.
It's sad though because, you know, you look at a band like the Foo Fighters, their drummer, when he passed away tragically, all of the members of the Foo Fighters came together to be there for the son. Yeah. And they let him like come to drum on some of the shows and stuff, and they all hung out with him, and like they're all very close with his son. And then you look at Linkin Park and it's like, what the fuck happened? Like it seems like it's sad. I wish when that happened to Chester, they could have, maybe they did try to welcome the son in, but you know, like you said, maybe the son was so angry at what had happened that, you know, he just didn't want anything to do with them. It might be very complicated, but
yeah, from what I can tell, it's been contentious with that son. I think a lot of people say that he has his own like mental health issues that kind of puts him off the rail, so he's kind of difficult to talk to in any situation. I'm not truly in the know of like how bad that is with him. I also know like Chester had 6 children, so.
Oh, holy fuck, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I don't think any of the other children have spoken out about it right now, so.
Oh my god. Well, yeah. A few points to make regarding some of the other stuff you said would be in terms of like a dark cloud hanging over the band. I feel like in the short term, all this shit is gonna benefit them a little bit because it's gonna fuel the fire of, you know, people being interested, and no press is bad press, you know, definitely in regard to the short term. But I do agree with you, if this shit goes on and gets worse and it kind of doesn't improve, I think it is going to be like a weird dark cloud over the band. I think they need to not let it go too far past the short term, in my opinion. All this fucking Scientology shit. But
Yeah.
it's definitely got to be, complicated behind closed doors. I feel like what it seems like with how vague she is and how she's refusing to mention anything in particular about Scientology, it's almost as if, or probably definitely is as if there's someone from Scientology breathing down her neck saying, you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that, because they're just fucking controlling. They're control freaks and they're fucking manipulative. But I'd be very interested to know, I don't think there's a ton about her childhood. I'd like to know if she was brought up in it, from childhood or as a baby or what, or if she
From
wasn't.
what I've seen, she was. Yeah.
Huh?
From what I've seen, I think she was brought up in it.
Yeah. See, I have a little bit more sympathy for her because when that's all you've known for your whole life and everyone you feel close to is in that, and you don't have any reference point for like a normal, life or a normal kind of family dynamic, then it can be very, very difficult to leave, because then you feel like you have no one. You feel like you're just totally alone after that.
Yeah. I definitely get that, but maybe this will be that point in her life that like opens her eyes up to it's not really worth it to, I mean, it is a difficult situation, but I mean, if all your friends and family are going to turn on you for speaking out against a cult that promotes death threats and harassing of rape victims and like all this awful shit, I mean, it's not like she's like 10 years old anymore in a bubble. Like, she is old enough to do her own research online and find out what's the real deal,
Yeah, no, definitely. And there's probably a component too of, the whole thing of actors and musicians who kind of stay in Scientology because some of them do feel like they gain a benefit in regard to their careers somehow. But a lot of people don't. 90% of them are the ones that sleep in fucking bunk beds in a cramped room with like 12 other people, and they ride on the same bus together in their little fucking stupid white shirts, but white short sleeve button up shirts. But I do agree with you. I mean, at any age though, I think when your mind becomes accustomed to something like that, it would still be very hard for anyone to turn your back on it. But I do think it is the right move, because she could, especially being in Linkin Park and touring with a ton of bands and going all around the world, she could try to look at it as if, in a new phase of her life, she could meet people and make new friends and having, people in her life that are like her new family almost. Like, you don't have to be blood to be family. She could meet new people and try to create a new phase of her life. But ultimately, she's going to do what she wants to fucking do. But if she doesn't condemn it, I don't think I'm going to be too into the whole thing at all, really, or her.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be cool if Leah Ramini reached out to her. That would be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
It would help her get out of that cult.
Yeah, I did check out that song, and I thought it was going to be a lot worse.
Yeah.
But I don't really have any interest in supporting anyone like really deep into fucking Scientology. But
yeah, I didn't listen to the new song, but I did listen to like a little bit of like that concert they put out where they played I think they played that new song and then a couple of the old like classic songs. I listened to a little bit of it. I mean, she's not a bad singer. She hits the right notes, and like she sounds like it should be pretty much. But there is something that's also missing. I mean, you're just never gonna replace Chester.
No,
it felt like it just felt like a little weird to me. I know a lot of people like love it and stuff, but
it felt weird. Oh, like the idea of there being anyone new in general.
uh, it just felt like a weird vibe to me. It just felt like there was just something missing a little bit. Like, she was definitely like not singing bad, and she was doing it well, but it just felt like something was missing. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, yeah. But I do think, oddly enough, I do think the general idea of maybe going with the female singer was a little bit of a better idea than a male singer, because a guy singer would probably have to deal with a lot more, like, comparisons to Chester.
I don't know. I mean, I think a guy singer, like, or even a different woman singer. I mean,
No,
I think
agree with that.
this is like the roughest outcome that it could have been with her.
Yeah, no. I would take a male singer over her.
Yeah.
I was trying to say I kind of see where they were coming from with, like, the idea of, like, let's try to put a new kind of take on Linkin Park by having a female singer, but not her. I feel like they picked the fucking... How could they not have foreseen the backlash too? Like, they're not fucking idiots. I don't get it. They must have known she was in the cult she was in. I mean,
yeah. I have no clue. All that, like, Mike Shinoda, all I read is that he said she's a good person, and I saw he was. I think it was
be in Scientology and be a good person though.
Yeah, I mean,
unless you're like you really are a good person deep down, but you're only staying in it because you're afraid to leave your family, but you don't agree with any of it, you know?
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing because, I mean, it's such a difficult situation. But the main thing that's like weird is like her going to the rapist court hearing and not even saying his name in the apology thing, and like saying it was several years ago, one of the earlier hearings, when in fact it was just 2 years ago, and like
2022 you said.
Yeah, and like one of the later hearings actually. I mean, it was like trying to like downplay it.
Yeah, downplay when they had a ton of evidence that he fucking like drugged and...
Yeah, so that makes me think like she's sticking to the Scientology book on like how to talk about it and shit. Like,
yeah, someone breathing down her neck.
But I think it was yesterday Mike Shinoda went on like Discord, like the Linkin Park Discord or something, and he was talking about like, he also like avoided the whole topic of like the fans are pissed about like the Scientology shit and like her going to the court case and like the question about like if she believes in mental health. Like, he completely ignored that stuff, and all he said was like, I understand it's going to take time for some fans to like get used to this change, and like I miss Esther too, and it's like a very like strange to be on stage with her instead of him. Like, he's like, we were crying about it, like me and the bandmates, and we were happy to, like, he like completely like didn't even acknowledge the real issue. And then he was like, but if you disrespect me, I'm gonna disrespect you right back. And like,
oh my god,
it was like completely avoiding the actual issue with the whole thing.
Yeah, he's kind of acting like a fucking moron too. What the hell?
Yeah. I don't know if he has ties to Scientology or not, but
I hope
this whole thing's making it seem like it's fucking weird.
I hope not, man. Some people have no integrity. They'll fucking sell their soul to advance their career.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, like he was always my least favorite member of Linkin Park. Like I definitely enjoy like rapping along to like his verses and stuff to a lot of the music, but just him personally, like I just never really vibed with him.
Yeah.
Like Chester was always the main. When I thought of Linkin Park, it was him and like the fucking heavy metal music behind him, and like the way he could hit like those crazy high notes and then bring it back to like a gritty screaming metal. Like that was always the vibe, and then there was like some rap thrown in it too. But I don't know. I was never a big fan of him. Like when he did Fort Minor, just wasn't into it. But
Fort Mine. Oh, he was in. Yeah, the only guy I kind of knew anything about really in Linkin Park was Chester.
right.
I didn't really know anything about the other guys really, but I did always enjoy the vocals from him more so than the rap from Shinoda.
Yeah, I always liked the guitarist Brad Delson. He always he would use like a PRS a lot of the time, which I really liked PRS growing up, and he always had these like giant like headphones on while he was playing. I just thought that was always like cool.
Yeah.
And like interesting enough, he's confirmed that he's not going to be doing like the tour with them. That guitarist.
Oh wow.
He said he won't be joining the band on their tour, but he is going to do the guitar on like the album and like the behind the scenes stuff. So I don't know what that means.
You know what it means is that what I think it means is that he probably needs the money, and he'll make a decent amount by recording on that record. I mean, he'd make a lot more going on tour, but
yeah,
he probably can't stand being in a fucking tour bus with some of them for a full year,
Or maybe he just doesn't want to see Chester being replaced by this woman in person.
Yeah, that too. Like, can't stand being around the whole thing,
Yeah.
Who knows? Well, fuck that crazy bitch. Until I receive something that makes me feel otherwise.
Yeah, that apology didn't do it for me. It just was like, okay, well, where's the meat and bones of it,
No, it was a lame fucking apology.
Yeah, but a lot of people accepted the apology. I think they're just really want Linkin Park back, and they're willing to accept this for if that means they get their favorite band back, which doesn't make sense to me. I think it's tainting the image of what they were with Chester until more details are released, at least. And because I mean, my favorite band growing up, which I'll probably get made fun of if we get comments, is Creed.
Yeah.
And they were broken up for a long time.
Yeah.
And then all the band members of Creed, except the singer, they created a new band, Alter Bridge.
Right.
And in many ways, it launched them musically to another level. They hit like milestones with records sold and stuff to a different level. They have a whole new fan base and a completely different band with a completely different singer.
Yeah, I know what you
They could have did this with Linkin Park if they wanted to do it with her. Instead of keeping it like they just want that name recognition.
That is what it is. They want the name recognition because it requires way less effort. You get access immediately to every fan, every Linkin Park fan. It's maybe not. I mean, there'll be some people who think for themselves, but a lot of people eat it up. And I mean, the guys from Creed kind of did something brave to start a whole new band without the name. Maybe it was easier for them because people were kind of shitting on Creed, and I think Alter Bridge has gained more respect than Creed. But I think it was hard for them to walk away from the Linkin Park name because, especially, over the years after Chester died, they've gained even a lot of new fans. Like, a lot of people really like Linkin Park. So I think they just couldn't walk away from using the name. But the move with more integrity and the brave move would have been to create, like you said, something totally new. If they have the talent and the drive, then they could have done it. They could have pulled off. It would have taken more effort and more work, but they could have created a new band with a new sound, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not like a one-to-one comparison with the Creed to Linkin Park. They were definitely different situations, but I definitely think it does kind of hurt them musically or like artistically, because in a way they're also still just like chaining themselves to like they have to sound like Linkin Park still.
Yeah. They're called Linkin Park.
Yeah, they can't just I mean, I'm sure they've grown a lot, all of them, since the passing of Chester, and that leads to different things musically, and maybe that will I mean, maybe they're just going to change the sound of Linkin Park. I mean, but I don't know. It's just the whole thing's fucking weird. I mean, did you think that you heard their new song? Does it sound like a Linkin Park song?
Kind of. It kind of sounded like Linkin Park in like an alternate dimension. It still had a flair of Linkin Park, kind of more so in the, I guess in the chorus. I kind of liked the chorus, but it didn't have the same kind of like not weird, like the same kind of interesting grit of metal and whatever else they were going for as some of their hit songs, but it had some elements of it.
It's interesting because Linkin Park, like, their sound definitely changed over time, because when I was like really into them with like Hybrid Theory and like the beginning, they were like really like a metal band with like rap thrown in it, and it was very hard, and like that's my favorite era. But then it started like slowly progressing to like a slightly more pop sound with still that like grittiness, and then it like in a way was like almost transforming into like an almost like EDM kind of vibe going on. And it like got like softer and more like melodic and like ballady and like so I don't know. I mean, but if it's gonna be like just like sound like a generic Linkin Park song, or if they completely change it, I think fans are gonna get pissed either way.
Yeah, you can't win. But
I don't know how this album's gonna be.
Yeah, the move should have been to make a new band, but whatever. They want their fucking money.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to keep our eye out on, what happens with her. But as of right now, I'm not sold on it.
Yeah. You gotta do better than that to impress the mob of two.
You do. The mob of two has fucking standards.
That's right.
Alrighty. Be sure to like and
subscribe
and comment, or we're gonna fucking beat the shit out of you.
You heard it, folks. You better do it. Better do what he says.
Oh yeah. Alrighty. Peace, love, and mob of two. What?
Fuck science.